Hello everyone, welcome back to Believers IAS Academy presents the GS 400 plus series for Mains 2025. So we are already done with GS1 and GS1 and 2. Today we will be discussing with GS3. All the important committees from GS3 and we will divide it into economy, science and tech, environment and ecology, and if there are any committees related to disaster management, we will cover them as well. And within economy, we will focus on industrial development, agriculture, and all the other aspects of economy. Okay, so we'll cover it very holistically. And with this, the GS3, which is supposed to be the most difficult part of GS subject or GS series syllabus, we'll be able to get more than what normally we get the marks. Okay, so that is the aim today. So in GS3, the subtopic is Committee on Industry, Infrastructure and Investment Models. So subtopic within that one is the effect of liberalization and industrial policy. Committee and the year. Committee was Abid Hussain Committee on Trade Reform Policy in 1984. The context is prepare industry for global competition. It was the year when LPG reforms were accepted by India. So important recommendations were reduce tariff, remove quantitative restrictions, promote exports via incentives and deregulate licensing so that the economy becomes liberal, so that the economy becomes privatized, so that the economy becomes globalized. Okay, so very old committee, but just have an idea about it. Next is Narendra Modi Government Industrial Policy Draft Task Force of 2018. It was drafted to bring new industrial policy reforms after the 1991 reforms. So important recommendations were cluster-based industrial zones, ease of doing business promotion and startup ecosystem promotion, and R&D incentives. Okay, these are some of the issues that the manufacturing industry in India is facing. That is, the industrial zones are very secluded and they are not cluster based, and there is no forward and backward linkages which are connecting both industries. And then is the ease of doing business was very hard in India, so India was always getting very less marking or less ranking in ease of doing business index of the World Bank. So aim was to improve all the issues. Okay, next, Rangarajan Committee on Disinvestment 2001. The aim was liberalization of public sector undertakings, PSUs. The aim was, and the recommendations were strategic disinvestment in non-core PSUs. Next, use proceeds for social infrastructure, strengthen capital markets and transparency in process. All these things are addressed by or given by Rangarajan Committee. Aim was so that the public sector undertakings become more efficient. Okay, instead of becoming the dead industries, they could turn into something more. They become efficient and they become more economic in nature. Okay, so in order to convert the PSUs into more economic in nature, these were some of the important recommendations provided by Rangarajan Committee. Go for strategic disinvestment, proceed for social infrastructure construction and strengthening capital markets, and finally transparency in processes so that we can avoid the corruption. Okay, next, with respect to infrastructure energy, a very important committee. Though the committee was founded in 2004 or the committee gave report in 2004, the recommendations are still relevant. So Deepak Parekh Committee on Infrastructure Financing, very important, Deepak Parekh Committee. Aim is mobilize funds for infrastructure, long-term bonds for infra, PPP public-private partnership for power and roads, viability gap funding for the private industries, and single window clearance, so that the infrastructure can be streamlined and infrastructure can be improved. Okay. Next, Parekh Committee on Integrated Energy Policy. Aim is long-term security, energy security. Again, the Parekh Committee and the Deepak Parekh Committee is different and the Parekh Committee is different. So long-term security. So it recommended for energy pricing reforms, a very important recommendation. Even now, India is going towards green energy tech promotion, green energy promotion. So recently a report was there, India has achieved 50% of its total built-in capacity for electricity in green energy. However, only 27% of it capacity is loading or running at the moment. So there are some issues. So here you can use this recommendation for this green energy, that lack difference between the capacity and the actual production. Okay. So aim is diversify energy mix, improve energy efficiency, and universal access to electricity. All these recommendations were provided by Parikh committee, that is Kirit Parikh committee. Next is again Kirit Parikh committee on gas pricing. Focus was on reforming natural gas pricing, that is market linked prices, encourage exploration, protect priority sectors, and transparent formula in reducing or reforming the natural gas pricing. Okay, that is Kirit Parikh. Not going to be very important, but just have an idea about it. This can come in prelims as well. Next, with respect to infrastructure such as transport, road, railways, ports, and airports. So, important committee is TR Balu Committee on Port Modernization. Very important, and based on these recommendations, India was able to bring Sagarmala project. Okay, so aim is upgrading the major ports. So recommendations are public-private partnership in port operations, dredging and modernization, improve hinterland connectivity, and IT-enabled services, so that the port is modernized. Okay, very important. TR Balu. Okay, IT-enabled services, hinterland connectivity improvement, dredging and modernization, and public-private partnership in port operations. Okay, next, Rakesh Mohan Committee on Infrastructure, 1996. It was related to holistic infrastructure development. That is, the recommendations were create statutory regulator, private sector role to be improved, long-term funding, and urban transport focus. These are some of the recommendations which are still relevant to the day. There is absence of long-term funding, and private sector role is very meager, and urban transport is very disjointed. So these things can be addressed or used in even current context as well. Next is Bibek Debroy Committee on Railway Restructuring, a very important committee. This has very old news, but still very relevant to this day as well. Aim was to reform Indian Railways. So the recommendations were open passenger sector to private only, a private entity. Okay, private entry can be done with respect to passenger sector. Unbundle railway services, independent regulators, and financing restructuring. All these things, recommendations are provided by Bibek Debroy Committee. Okay. Next is Ajay Shankar Committee on Road Safety, a very important committee. Aim is obviously to reduce the road accidents. So recommendations were National Road Safety Board, which has been established recently, and then stringent enforcement of the recommendations, black spot removals, and then awareness campaigns, so that we can avoid this we can avoid these road accidents. Okay, that is Ajay Shankar Committee, very important. Next is with respect to investment models, very important topic. First one is Kelkar Committee on Public-Private Partnership 2015. Aim was revise stalled PPP projects. The recommendations were risk sharing rebalancing between the government and private industry, private players, independent regulators to look into these PPP projects, swift dispute resolution to address the issue between government and private, and transparent contracts so that it is more efficient and more economical for both the parties involved. All these recommendations were provided by Kelkar Committee, and these recommendations are still relevant to this day as well, because the public-private partnership infrastructure is facing the same issues what it was facing around almost 10 years back. Next is Vijay Kelkar Committee on revisiting and revitalizing PPP model, the same committee, that is strengthening public-private partnership viability. That is moving to hybrid annuity model. Next, independent dispute resolution, institutional capacity building, and risk allocation clarity. Both the committees are same, and the recommendations are also same. Next is high level committee on infrastructure financing under the chairmanship of Deepak Parekh. We discussed already, just have an idea again. Investment flows for infrastructure. Focused on infrastructure bonds, are very important recommendations relevant to this day as well. And pension fund participations, then FDI liberalization in infrastructure, and special purpose vehicles for construction or completion of infrastructure. All these recommendations were given by Deepak Parekh committee. These infra bonds are very important because now we are moving towards catastrophic bonds. Catastrophic bonds are also called as CAT bonds, which provides insurance against the hazards or disasters. Okay. Next, second and most important part of GS3, that is the agriculture. We discuss important committees under agriculture. So under this subtopic is major cropping and cropping patterns. So the first important committee is Ashok Dalwai Committee on Doubling the Farmers' Income 2016. Context, obviously as the name suggests, aim is to build a strategy to double farmers' income by 2022. Recommendations were diversification of high value crops, post harvest management to reduce losses, market reforms to bring more profit, and irrigation efficiency so that the production is more. Okay, very important recommendations of Ashok Dalwai committee. Any question which is talking about agriculture, one of the drawbacks with agriculture is the wastages. Okay, food are not being able to store it in cold storage. As a result, they are being wasted. So any questions which involve wastage, you can use Ashok Dalwai committee as a recommendation. Next is National Commission on Farmers under the chairmanship of Swaminathan. It was again dealt with holistic agriculture reforms, MSP at C2 plus 50%, land and water management, agriculture research and development, and risk management. All these recommendations were provided by Swaminathan committee. Next is with respect to irrigation and storage. Okay, in irrigation and storage, the first important committee is AN Rangachari committee on pricing of irrigation water. The rational water use is the demand or the important aim of this committee. So the recommendations are volumetric pricing, participatory irrigation management, repair canal systems and promote micro irrigation. Okay, so currently only 2/3 of India is under the irrigation. So if you want to bring 100% of India under irrigation and make irrigation more efficient, these recommendations very relevant even to this day. Okay, next is Mihir Shah committee on restructuring of CWC and CGWB, Central Water Commission and Central Groundwater Board. It was the committee was started in 2016 and provided report in 2016 itself. Aim was integrated water management. The recommendations are merge both the agencies, focus on river basin planning, groundwater mapping, and demand management. All these things were important recommendations of Mihir Shah committee. Next is transport and marketing of agricultural produce. Very important committee, that is Shanta Kumar committee on FCI restructuring. Okay, Food Corporation of India restructuring in 2024. Aim is improving grain procurement and distribution to avoid wastage. Okay, so recommendations are very important. Limit MSP procurement to poor states only. Cash transfers in public distribution system, modern silos, and deregulate exports. Very important recommendations. However, it was a point of contention because it focused only on poor states, and rest of the states in India started demanding their procurement as well. That is for another day. But Shanta Kumar committee focused on deregulation of exports and also cash transfers in public PDS systems. Okay. Next is again Ashok Dalwai committee on marketing reforms 2016. Aim was on unified agri marketing. So recommendations were promotion of e-national agriculture marketing or e-NAM portal and single trader license, and remove APMC monopoly and grading and standardization. Okay, all these recommendations are provided by Ashok Dalwai committee. Next is with respect to e-technology for farmers, very important. So now we are moving towards climate smart agriculture. For climate smart agriculture, e-technology is very basis. So MENA Committee on Digital Infrastructure for Agriculture. Aim was Digital Agri Strategy. The recommendations were ICT for Extension Services, Farmer Database, use of drones and artificial intelligence in farm production, and M-Kisan platform for expansion. Very important. MENA Committee on modernization of agriculture, okay, or mechanization of agriculture. Next, with respect to farm subsidies and MSP, important committees: Ramesh Chand Committee on MSP and Market Intervention. So aim is to rationalize MSP. Very important. This Ramesh Chand Committee or Swaminathan Committee, which deal with MSP. These are very important because MSP is in news because recently. So there is a demand for legalizing MSP in India. Farmers want to legalize the MSP in India. However, the government is very adamant towards this demand. So that is why this committee becomes important for you. The recommendations of Ramesh Chand Committee was MSP for fewer crops, direct income support, private procurement push, and link MSP to market demand. All these things are very important. Next is with respect to public distribution system or FCI, which already discussed. That is Shantakumar Committee, focus on reforming public distribution system and Food Corporation of India. Reduce coverage to 40% only, focusing on direct cash transfers, and outsource milling and transport, and cut grain buffer. All these things were recommended by Shantakumar Committee. Anything with respect to wastage or anything with respect to FCR, PDS, Shantakumar Committee is your way forward. Next, with respect to buffer stocks and food security, the committee was Abhijit Sen Committee on Long-Term Green Policy. It dealt with food security norms, buffer norms based on consumption, decentralized procurement, grains for nutrition programs, and storage expansion with cold storage focus. Okay, very important. Next is technology missions. Technology mission on oil seeds. Aim is to boost oil seed sufficiency in India. So the recommendations were use of high yielding variety seeds and MSP assurance for the oil seeds, processing units, and marketing support for oil seeds. All these things were recommended by Technology Mission on Oil Seeds of 1986. Next is with respect to economics of animal rearing. The report was National Dairy Development Board Mission 2022. It dealt with milk productivity, and the recommendations were breed improvement, feed and fodder development, chilling and processing infrastructure, and market linkages. With this milk productivity can be improved in India. Next is Ramesh Chand Committee on Animal Husbandry. The committee dealt with boosting livestock sector, so focused on vet healthcare infrastructure, insurance for cattle, breed diversity in cattle, and export promotion. All these things were promoted or recommended by Ramesh Chand Committee on Animal Husbandry. Next, there is Ramesh Chand Committee on Food Processing again. It dealt with agro-processing industry, agro-processing policy. Recommendations are cluster-based parks, cold chain expansion, credit incentives, and export facilitation. All these things were covered by Ramesh Chand Committee on Food Processing. Don't forget or don't get confused, Ramesh Chand Committee is there on animal husbandry as well, and also it is there on food processing as well. And you saw about this in the infrastructure as well. So he is very important person and a very important committee. Next is with respect to land reforms. So important committee is DP Gupta Committee on Land Reforms. Aim is to implement land ceilings. Very old or outdated recommendations, but just have an idea about it. Recommendations are update land records, sealing surplus redistribution, protect tenancy rates, and consolidation of holdings. All these things were recommended by DB Gupta. Next is Bandyopadhyay Committee on Agrarian Relations 2008. Aim is to review land policy. So recommendations are computerized land registry because of the oral nature of land agreement between the peasant and the owner. Most of the times what used to happen was the peasant was exploited by owner. Okay, it led to absentee landlordism. Okay, so whenever the leader or the owner is happy with the work of this peasant, he would let them continue the work. Whenever he was not in mood, he could easily terminate the contracts, because these contracts were oral in nature. So now these contracts are being made as a computerized land registry. Next is prevent distressed sale and promote women-led rights and community farming. Okay, so this you can also use the gender justice as well. Okay, gender justice as well, very important. So these are few committees which I want to discuss in today's video. In tomorrow we'll cover rest of the videos from GS3 and finish up GS3 with this one, and then we'll try to bring certain datas and reports with respect to all GS1, GS2 and GS3, very important topics such as women, SAST, entrepreneurship, etc. All these things will be covered in coming videos. So if you like the video, then please hit the like button, comment on it, and also share with your friends. And if you like the initiative, please comment your thought on the videos, and also show some love and appreciation by hitting the like button. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon so that you don't miss any notification. With this, I'll be ending the video. Jai Hind.